better see. If you'd like to join, that'd be great.
I'm doing the wrench next week, so
Okay.
I need some practice.
So I'm still kind of getting set up.
Oh yeah, take your time.
So we have early rocks here in our feature semifinal between Team Endicott and Team Siggins. Team Siggins finished first in their pool, and they're facing the number 2 from the opposite pool, which is Team Endicott, if I remember correctly. Team Siggins, I believe, has a hammer. Team Endicott is throwing the yellow rocks as one of the Gaddy members delivers the rock down the rink. So there's a mute button. Yeah, go ahead and flip it to your collar there. Yep, now it's live. And you push the button again, it's mute. Yep, sweet. So glad to have you guys with us. As always, it's been a great crowd in the warm room and online. If you see any, have any questions or comments, I'll be doing my best to check the chats. Hopefully the internet will work and my hub will work through the rest of the game here. So I'm joined in the booth by one of the Coyotes curlers who's actually going to be in a tournament next month. Maybe if you could introduce yourself. And
This is Sean Aarons coming live from Tempe.
So how much have you been able to watch much of the tournament so far?
You know, I've been watching your live streams, and let me tell you, broadcast quality, top notch.
Thank you. It's really great. The resources that we have here at Coyote is to be able to facilitate such a broadcast. And it's a team effort, and I'm glad it's appreciated.
Oh, it's definitely appreciated. That's why I wanted to come join in on the fun.
This is the next rock is coming from the second for Team Endicott. That's Travis Gaddy. I was going to call him something else, and I'm glad I looked it up.
Bit of a faux pas that would have been.
Yes, you know, there's a number of goofs that we can make, and I'm glad I didn't make that one. So we have Endicott and Siggins on this sheet as Gaddy's shot. Let's go to the back to the 8 foot. So it's early rocks. What do you think is kind of the strategy going with these teams?
You know, I think coming into this game, you know, early on, teams are either trying to maybe keep it clean, bank some time early, you know, or maybe be a little bit more aggressive, kind of assert some dominance early on, try and grab an early lead. Mm-hmm. So it looks like for now, teams are they're both kind of trying to draw into the button there.
So I would kind of maybe rate this as modestly aggressive. They're not really. They have a center guard. They're trying to play around it. They're bringing the play into the house, but they're not quite doing a takeout game yet. They're not looking to blank necessarily. Although one of the teams did do 3 blanks in a row. I think it was Team Endicott.
Oh, did they really?
I think they blanked 3 times in a row. Yeah.
Well, you know, hey, it's always good to keep hammer.
That's true.
That's one way to go.
As long as you score at the end of it.
That's true. That's true. You hear the embarrassing blank and extra end scenarios pop up every once in a while.
Oh yeah. This is Kimberly Gaddy with her first rock here. And it looks like they're drawing in as well as their rock comes to a rest.
Drawing's lie 2 here. Maybe find its way to the back of the house here.
Yeah, it's hanging out a little bit more, and both sweepers are kind of pushing it back to the 12 foot here. Make sure you get the names right on the scoreboard tonight. The other sheet is a match between Team Maxi, the defending champions, taking on a young team, Team McDonald, skipped by Andy McDonald. That should also be a pretty interesting matchup on that sheet as well. That's going to be on sheet C. Normally our feature sheets, we moved over to sheet A because just to spread the wealth, we had not featured Endicott yet, so wanted to give them some airtime.
Well, on both those teams, I think on the other sheet, were in must-win scenarios earlier today.
That's a good
to even
point.
get to this point.
So this is Kimberly Gaddy's second shot coming down the way. And you've played against these teams before, I would imagine.
I have, yeah. Oh, yeah.
This is your home club?
Many a time. This is my home club.
So as you've played against them, are there things that you might, or the viewer might look out for, just in terms of the general playing style?
You know, I think both these teams feature some really strong sweepers, right? So I think, it gives them, all of the throwers, that a little bit more confidence, a little bit more like wiggle room, on some of their draw weights. You feel comfortable, throwing it to your sweepers, if you will.
Yeah. Well, and the ice allows that too. The ice, looking at about
Absolutely.
14 to 14 and a half seconds, measuring from hog line to hog line to reach the tee line. So it can carry away, especially if you have sweepers on it. This is Claire Blaski's first. That looks really nice.
Looks like it's coming in real nice here.
Maybe overcurling just a smidge, but the angles are still working in Siggins' favor.
Well, it's good enough for shot, but probably a little deeper than they wanted it to be.
Indeed. And also, do you think they're on the, would they have rather have been on the right side of that Yellowstone in the back eight?
They probably didn't even want to get down to that Yellowstone, right? Because getting down to the Yellowstone still leaves the button open.
Yeah.
Gives Adam here a chance just to follow.
Yeah. At the same time, though, these can be hitting teams. So if they were too high up, they just hit it out. And
Sure. You definitely wouldn't want to be wide there. And give them a hit and roll opportunity to get into the button themselves. And it's interesting here, coming off the wall in the first end with a couple of draws. That can be a tricky spot in the club.
Well, also that's the exterior wall. There's obviously there's four walls. This is the exterior wall, and it can heat up in the day. Although it has been not as hot, I think, as one might expect in Arizona, even in the wintertime.
True. We've had a bit of a cold spell.
And it looks like that draw was it was a draw tap. It looks like it tapped to the red back, and now it's Endicott sitting 2.
Well, I think they found their back 4 weight so far.
And just like that, we're already at Skip Stones.
These teams, another scouting report, these teams both play at a really good pace, right? So it's, opportunity to get into a good rhythm for everybody, including us back here.
You can see behind Claire, there are clocks. This is a timed game. There are 30 minutes for each team to play 8 ends. The timing is done basically when the opponent's team stops until your team delivers the rock. And so now the clock stopped for Siggins as he delivers his first. It's been good to hear feedback from people who are new to curling. So I do try to explain a little bit more about curling, but not necessarily retell the rules of curling every game.
Oh, absolutely. And this is one of those unique events. You have the timing, you have the practice beforehand, and the LSD to determine hammer. We had heard one of the new curlers here in the warm room asking about that earlier. And this is a nice shot right there.
Oh, yeah. It's behind cover, so he really can't directly hit it out. He threw back 4 weight, so if Endicott, if Endicott throws... Well, let me ask you, since you're the expert, what do you think Endicott will do to tap that red out?
It's a good question. Do they even want to tap that out, right? I think they probably throw in, like you say, maybe a little bit of a heavy draw, maybe a little bit of a tap, right? If they could tap that just to the back 4 foot, they could maybe lie to. But I think the miss here is just to sit right on top of it, make getting 2 really hard for Siggins.
And that's a great point. Siggins has the hammer, and so it'd be a win for Team Endicott to even force Siggins to take the 1 point. Yes. Looks pretty good as it's coming down.
Looks like they might be sweeping for curl a touch here.
It does look to be back 8 weights.
Ooh, a little heavy maybe.
It just kind of weights off of the Siggins red, and so now Siggins has a draw for 2. And there's a little bit of backing, so I think they can maybe go a little bit wider.
Just through the shot as well, right? So sweepers just saw the stone go all the way down. So
yeah. Although we say that, I've been saying, oh, all they have to do is make the shot, and then they don't make the shot.
Well, you still got to execute, but it's it's a comfort thing, right?
Yeah.
Choosing the shot, choosing the side of the ice.
And also looking at what the tolerance is to be too light or to be too heavy.
Absolutely.
In this case, the weight has to be, I think, pretty close, but you want to maybe be just a little heavy. You don't want to be, well,
I think you're probably just thinking, throw that same weight. This looks about the same.
Looks pretty good, actually, as it's coming down the ice. They're sweeping it. I want to make sure it doesn't over-curl. I think it's maybe over-curling slightly, but it looks like from the overhead they have a little space to go into.
Looks okay. I think that'll do it. That'll be 2.
Yeah, it does look 2. So from our over-the-shoulder view, as I'm calling this this view, it looked like yellow maybe like a little bit closer than I thought it was. But from the overhead, the yellow was definitely kind of more touching the back forefoot. So Siggins really had the front 4 to work with, and that's what he really capitalized on.
They had the forefoot. You don't want to take that for granted, but
right.
they did have the forefoot there.
So that's going to be 2 for Team Siggins to start the scoring. We're also going to keep an eye on sheet C, where the game between Team McDonald and Team Maxey are underway. Looks like they're about to finish their first end. We'll do our best to offer live look-ins when we can.
It looks like it might be red sitting 2 over there.
All right.
Now we got to figure out who's red.
Indeed. What sort of rock do they have in front of the hat? Yes, it looks like Maxey's about ready to deliver his shots.
It looks like he's throwing a yellow rock there. So this might be hammer against, drawing against 2.
Interesting. So Maxey, defending champions, they had a fairly decent run, but they also were upset, I think, in their first game.
They were upset pretty early on.
Yeah, against
they've been in must-win scenarios for probably 2 days now.
Team Ewers, I think, did deal the defeat, and they Ewers had a pretty good run. They fell just a little bit short in the last game, but it was
true. Hey, I was watching earlier on the broadcast and was really hoping for some tiebreakers, right? Some chaos scenarios coming through, and they were definitely on the table for a long time.
That's true. That's true. And actually, I think Ewers was up, and just I think they were playing against Mallarich, and Mallarich is able to get back into the game.
And it looks like over on sheet C that draw for 1 came up short, so it looks like it might have been a steal of 2 for McDonald.
And McDonald's, they're a young team, but you can't discount them. They definitely know how to prevail in pressure situations.
Hey, they're playing great this weekend. Beat some good teams. It's exciting to watch.
Yeah. And I think, for me, I think it's been kind of great just to see the variety of teams. I know Coyotes is well represented. All 4 of the teams in this playoff have strong Coyotes representation, but just to see one country, and especially Hollywood, be able to come over here and...
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
And so you were at Mitch's club Playdowns, right? So you were at men's club
Men's
Playdowns.
club Playdowns.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
So how was that experience with 18 teams in the men's field?
18 teams, really exciting. It's exciting to be, part of a big event, right?
Yeah.
5 sheets up there in San Francisco, and so most of them being full the entire time.
Yeah.
It was, that kind of atmosphere was really fun. It was really fun. And hey, we made a pretty good run too, so that always helps.
Yeah. Here. Yeah. There we go. So it looks like Siggins' first 2 rots that's delivered by lead Brianna Weldon both go into the house. Endicott was opting to put up a corner guard. That's again a pretty solid strategy. If you have the hammer, you want to maybe put up a corner guard, right, and then that gives you some opportunities later in the end.
Sure, so it's kind of that setup shot.
This is the lead for Team Endicott. This is Cassie Endicott. She throws lead and holds the broom for skipstones. This is coming down. Looks like they're opting to hit and roll, perhaps.
That's what it looks like.
Little hit, not too much of a roll, but it does get rid of one of the Siggins counters. And so just like that, we're already kind of drawing play into the house.
Oh, absolutely. That looked like Mike's strategy. Throw a couple of draws in for his lead.
And this is the second for Team Siggins. This is Sean, and just to make sure I get the last name correct, Sean Franey. And it looks like I'm going to hit maybe a little roll to the other way.
That'll do it. I think that's right where we wanted that roll. Make this roll a bigger roll for Adam, right? Try and get back over under that guard.
So now it looks like the call is to hit and roll. I mean, I guess it would be just a bonus if they were able to do it like a double takeout of both reds in the house.
Oh, sure.
This is Travis Gaddy's first. Travis won the MoPac 500 in the Coyotes Desert Ice Bonspiel multiple times. And looks like, so they got one of the reds, but it ran back and jammed.
Yeah, just jammed on that red, but I don't think they were too worried about that back one.
No.
At the moment.
They're not. Neither team is really seeing a lot of roll right now. And why do you think that might be?
Well, they're probably still figuring out the ice, to some extent, right? It's that wall sheet. Some of these are into the wall. How much is it going to curl? Stones here maybe aren't the liveliest. So you have to be a little bit more precise, but.
So they are doing their takeouts. So it is keeping a pretty clean sheet. So if you're Siggins, I think that's playing into his strength because they want to keep a clean sheet and minimize.
Looked like the strategy coming into this end.
So it looks like now they're trying to maybe draw around the corner, and this is Endicott. So I think they were going to try and take advantage of the corner, although it looks like they're trying to sweep. I don't know if it's going to carry enough to get there.
Tight. Just a little short.
Yeah. I think they probably needed just a little less ice and a little more weight to get around there. But again, it's the wall.
Right, yeah. Going into the wall, you never, might be a new, fresher path here early on.
So we talked about the wall. I've played on that wall before, but like for you, I mean, you played against it a lot more than I have. What tends to usually happen? Does it tend to fall towards the wall, or?
Actually, the opposite. Actually, tends to curl a lot coming off the wall and be very straight going into it.
Okay.
But Ice Maker's done a lot of work. I think over the break we had a little bit of an emergency over the holidays, but I think it's coming back fairly strong.
Yeah, we had Sean Tate discuss what happened in one of the morning games, and it sounds pretty crazy just to have the plant shut down and the alarm system is like, oh, we're doing server problems or server upgrades, so the alarm doesn't go off.
He's kind of dramatic, so I never lost faith.
So this is Timberlake Gaddy, but it sounded like the system was at least, the ice was melting for at least a day or two.
That is why you see some of those maybe streaks or lines in the ice.
How would you describe the appearance of the ice?
I think the real estate term is character.
Character? A patina.
Right. I think another word might be cozy.
I call it French vanilla.
Oh, that's not bad.
Just kind of
like at the specs.
Yeah, little flakes of vanilla to make the curling sheet sweet, as it were.
That's a keen observation.
So this is Claire's second shot. Looks like they're going to do takeouts. So again, Siggins doing the defensive thing. So now we're down. We're almost down to skip rocks. Timberlake Gaddy has one more. Do you think Endicott? Well, it looks like Endicott's going to try and do a takeout. But do you think they could try and go for a blank, or do you think they're still going to try and get a double in this situation?
They're probably still trying to angle for two, right? They still have those two guards up there. If they get an okay roll, they might have it here. This looks like they're sweeping for curl, though.
So they're going to get one, it jams and rolls back toward the wing.
That's not a bad spot to have a, sitting second rock out there, right? Makes Mike kind of have to deal with it.
So Mike Siggins, for people who didn't tune into the earlier game where we featured them, apparently Olympic gold medalist John Schuster called him old.
I didn't know that. I did not know that.
And Mike was quick to point out that he's only like a year and a half older than Schuster.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. And also, Siggins doesn't look like it. I was talking to him in the warm room in between games. It's like he doesn't have any hair, but definitely doesn't have like kind of that.
He's not very grizzly looking.
Yeah, that would be the way to characterize it. He's also the newest curler on the team, so he came to the sport relatively late, but he's found success.
You said that earlier, and that definitely shocked me. That definitely shocked me.
And speaking of success, he was successful in taking out that Endicott stone. And so now, again, it's 2 red on the edge of the sheet. Looking from the sides here, they're talking about how to get to that rock. Or what to do with those rocks.
Well, like you were saying, Ryan, you're kind of in a tough choice here, right? Do you kind of hold out hope for 2?
Yeah.
And maybe make a play here, or be a little more conservative, go for a blank, right? It looks like they put the one down over by shot stone.
Yeah. So do you think they're going to try and hit it relatively thin on the outside and maybe roll a little bit under the red rock on the outside?
That's what they were initially pointing at there. Try to get on half undercover or something. Mm-hmm. Make it not a straightforward hit.
So this is Adam Endicott, finished second in the MoPac mixed four times. And let's see if he's got, looks like they're going to make contact with the outer red, and the shooter's going to roll out of play. So now Siggins can, so he's pointing at the button. I was thinking he could maybe go behind cover, trying to split the reins and make it really hard.
They still might be trying.
Oh, that's
to
a good point.
Cover.
Which way do you think he's going to go, to the right or the left?
No, this is why they're supposed to say the hand signals, right? So everybody's aware of which way he's trying to throw the stone.
Well, on arena ice, you definitely have to do the hand signals.
Right.
On dedicated ice, it's pretty obvious which direction you want the stone to go.
Most times. Sometimes maybe we're trying for a in-off or a double, and the turn matters, but it looks like he's throwing that in-turn here, so he's going behind cover.
Yeah. And in-turn refers to the way the elbow rotates. So this is going to be, for a right-handed person, in-turn is counterclockwise. The elbow goes inside, and if you want to go counterclockwise, it's out-turn. The elbow kind of rotates to the outside.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah. And so that's also
something every day.
So if you're a lefty, it's opposite. And that's why I think also why we're trying to standardize somewhat on counterclockwise rotation. Or just do the hand signal.
Right, the hand signals, then that way you know.
Although the hand signal is also a little confusing sometimes.
You can't have those confusing skips that can't make up their mind.
Well, there's that, but also USA Curling has some variation how they taught the hand signal, I guess, at some point. Now they've kind of standardized on it being, have the handle point the way, the arm is pointed.
True.
But there's like a lot of people who do it the opposite, where they point where they want how they want the stone to rotate.
That's true.
So this is Endicott's.
This is hammer here.
Yeah. So let's see here. Looks like he had a little bit of weight on it. So looking to hit and stick for 1. And it looks like it's on the money.
Smooth tap here.
And just gentle weight. Yeah.
Perfect.
That's one thing that, like, a lot of curlers, when you're starting out, you feel like, you have to do a takeout. You have to lob it.
Yeah, you really gotta tense up and put some mustard on it. But sometimes a little tap will do. And
also if you want to make sure your shooter sticks around, the lighter weight is going to be more conducive to that. So we're going to take a pause on our feature sheet. I'm getting my camera set up for around the rings coverage. There's only one other set of rings, so. And I've been joking that we invented it. Obviously, we did not invent around the rings coverage, as much as it'd be fun to say we did. But it's just kind of nice that we have a wireless camera setup, so I can just add a camera to the mix, and then go over to the other sheet. And so I'll do that in a second.
We'll call it a toss over.
A toss, yeah. Throw it to our roving correspondent here.
That's our sideline reporter.
Yes, indeed. So we're going to go check and see what's going on with the last drops here on sheets C. So on sheet C, looks like Andy McDonald is throwing a rod. Just going to hit right on the nose there. And so that was her last, I believe. So that means Fred Maxey, the defending champion of the tournament, has a tough shot. Not too tough, but it looks like he's going to probably hit and stick for one. Right now, Andy McDonald in her rink has a 2-0 lead over the defending champs. All these teams are from Coyotes, and it looks like the Vice has the broom down for nose hits and stick for one. Here we go. This is the hammer coming from Fred Maxey here in the second end. Supers are on it. It's going to be important for the rock to hit it right on the schnoz. Is there schnoz in the shots? A little bit of a roll, but it's going to stick around for the one. So it's now 2-1 McDonald over Maxey heading into the third end. McDonald will have the hammer. Thanks, guys. All right. So moving back to our feature sheets, it looks like, was there a hit? Looks like Endicott was pushing a rock to the back of the house.
Yeah, played a little bit of a tick that wasn't on the center line.
Okay. It's also interesting, just some of the variations, because people have watched curling maybe at the Olympics, and there's some rules that they might not be familiar with or just brand new. Because I don't even think the no-stick rule was not in effect during the Olympics, if I remember correctly.
I believe that's correct, yeah.
So let's see here. This yellow rock is going to settle in for a guard. Looks like it is touching the center line, so that is going to be the no-tick rule is going to apply. Maybe you can explain the no-tick rule, because I've been doing it a lot this weekend.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so basically it's kind of an attempt to, prevent, really clean ends, right? Build a little bit more drama. So if any part of that stone is overlapping the center line in the free guard zone, so not in the house, then the other team won't be able to push that stone off the center line until the fifth stone is thrown. So can't. I think the classic kind of setup was, we'll throw this guard, and then teams got really good at just ticking them and not removing it from play, but just kind of separating them out, so it's not useful anymore.
And the tick, we use it as a curler term. It's basically just to hit the side of the stone with enough force to move it to the side, out of the way, but not out of play.
It's kind of a softer verb than hit, you're just gonna kind of tap it, subtly move it.
And then there's an upweight version of the tick that's called a peel, and the peel used to be a lot more common. It still is common, especially in later in ends. Looks like Travis Daddy wants to draw around here. It's going to be close.
Looks pretty good. A little bit of a curl to finish here.
So Team Siggins gave us a bunch of fun facts, and so on a curling weekend, Sean will consume an average of 7,500 calories per day. I'm going to assume less than half of that is beer, but hard to say.
I don't know, did he give the distribution?
Oh, that was weight. So the 5-rock rule is over, and so...
kind of smashed everything to pieces there.
Oh my goodness, yeah. Sorry I didn't switch the camera fast enough.
It looked like they were trying, it was a little bit of a miss. It looked like they were trying just to run back and double off the yellows. It's maybe a little wide.
Right, because
But hey, that's the miss, right? With hammer, everything's clear and open now.
And then for Endicott with Travis Gaddy is second. I think looking to maybe put up a guard again, trying to help guard the center of the ice.
I think so. Kind of try to replace their guard, make it even a little bit better if they can.
Yeah. That's settling down pretty nicely.
Very nice shot. Very nice.
Although we saw Sean be able to deliver a blast, so do you think he's going to blast again?
Hey, it's one of those he just threw again. Looking at the overhead view, it is pretty far, so just a straight peel might not be a bad thing.
Yeah, definitely not that missile that he threw last time. Oh, actually, it's pretty hot. It's going to get one. It's going to peel the guard. And the shooter, the red rock, rolls out of play. I'm going to take a pause in our view real quick. App is being weird. All right, so it looks like Endicott's asking Kimberly Gaddy to put the guard back up.
Sweepers aren't touching it.
This looks like it's carrying, yeah.
Hey, hanging out there a little.
That too. I think maybe looking for a plan B here. Have it go to the back of the house. Do you think that was what was dialed up? I would tend to think it's kind of a miss because you want to kind of control the front of the house.
Right, likely no. But hey, you are sitting 2. If you jam back there, I think you'd still be sitting 1.
And this is Claire's first shot. She's been curling for half her life, starting in Lansing, Michigan. And it looks like she's delivering heat too. Seeing some high heats coming from Team Siggins here in the third end. Third end of a possible 8 in regulation. And if we need an extra end, we'll do one more, or we'll keep playing until someone scores.
True, and which is a change from last year. Last year, 10 end games.
That's right.
It was a little bit more of a marathon over the weekend.
It's been nice. I mean, I enjoy watching 10 end games, although I imagine playing 10 end games is a different story.
It's good and bad, right? You look back on it or looking forward to it, it's like, 10 ends is a lot. It's a long time, but it gives you a lot of time. Gives you a lot of time to come back in the game as well.
Although sometimes, like, if a team feels it's out of hand, they would probably shake hands around the same time. Like,
true.
Yeah, about like maybe a third of the games ended about a little
sixth
early.
end is kind of a magic number, no matter how many ends you're supposed to be playing.
Indeed. So it looks like Endicott has a yellow, trying to sort of split in the rings, and so Blasty's going to go down the middle here, take on the yellow in the back of the house, which is shots. Brianna is on it now. Sean joins in with the sweep. The camera shakes a little bit when someone steps onto the boards. It definitely accomplishes getting rid of it. Now the red is there. So with this hit game though, it does allow Endicott. Well, no, Siggins has the hammer. So
yeah, you're maybe playing into Endicott's hand a little bit here, right? The force is certainly on.
Right.
Siggins could be trying to set up kind of hit, and then maybe set up a double here with one of his last shots to blame.
And also, like, a team can make a mistake. I mean, at the top level, those types of mistakes are far and few between, but it does happen a little bit more, say, the lower you get in terms of competitive play.
Oh, true. And there's only, 2 teams out there on the ice, right? You might hit a fresh spot. Rockstone might do something a little unexpected.
Or the Endicott shot, that Endicott shot stuck around. That would definitely make things even more complicated for Siggins.
They're looking at it. It's tough to tell.
We have looked a view of the overhead cameras in the warm room. They're security cameras. They're decent cameras, but there's also a little bit of a fisheye, so it's hard to tell sometimes. Looks like Siggins is just going to probably make a play on the obvious shot rock in the top 12 there as he makes his way down the ice.
I think just a nose hit would accomplish a lot. Be a front biter, probably gets rid of, maybe gets rid of both of those yellow stones.
Yeah. Well, and also sometimes if you run a stone back, it definitely limits the question on if it's in the house or not.
Sure. Just get rid of it and call it a day.
So definitely has the weight. It's definitely going to get the shot stone, and then the shot stone flies past the Endicott stone in the bat. So definitely looks like more of a blank possibility now, really depending on if that yellow is in the house in the back. Either a blank or a 4 seems to be on tap.
Seems like they're playing in like it might not be, so blank is certainly on.
Yeah. So how often do you deliberately go for a blank? When we play on arena ice, the skill level's not as high as it is here, and so the opportunities for blank to present themselves are not super great.
Yeah, true. You're playing with a few more variables, I think. A lot of times it depends on how the end's set up for a lot of us. If everything's in the back of the house and there's not really anything set up, then sure, maybe you try for a blank. But
this needs to make contact. Oh no!
Actually flashes there.
It does make contact with the yellow in the back, but now just like that, no more talking about blank. Now we're talking about 2 for Siggins.
Well, it's just like you were saying. You can't take those for granted.
That's true. That's why we play the game.
Exactly. That's why you gotta throw the stones.
Yeah. And it is like golf. I mean, obviously, like, if you're on a putting green, it's like you're just a 20-foot putt or something. It's like, all I have to do is this is the right amount of force, the right amount of swing. If I make sure I'm throwing my line, but if you don't read the green correctly, it's like it could go horribly awry.
Very mental.
Yeah. They do call this game chess on ice, which is a far better name for the sport than shuffleboard on ice. It's also kind of fun to explain to people new to the sport that it's the rock that are the points. It's not where it ends up in the house.
It's true, like darts. Right?
Yeah, or shuffleboard.
Shuffleboard, that's right.
That does look like it is good for 2.
Sit down there for 2.
So just like that, the end turns. What Endicott was working really hard for.
Kind of a force there.
Or a blank even,
A little bit of a mistake, and Siggins takes 2 with hammer.
Yeah, goodness. So it is a 4-1 lead. Looking on sheet C, looks like they quickly got through their third end. It looks like they're about to finish their third end.
Looks like it's Skip Stones.
Yes, indeed. Andy McDonald has a 2-1 lead over Team Maxey, and McDonald has a hammer.
Looks like a possible hit for 2 for McDonald.
So this is going to be the first of her 2 skip stones with a hammer. We're not going to go over there because the rocks are on the far side of the sheet, so it's hard to see.
Well, and you don't want to mislead stones, right?
Oh yeah, I was joking in San Francisco that now I know how TSN feels because it's someone.
Oh, it's true.
We're trying to show all this action. We don't have ads or sponsorships quite yet, but when do you have time? Where do you put them and stuff? And
well, I normally throw lead stones, and people ask, it's like, oh well, you might not see me actually throw. You might see where my rocks end up, but.
This is the first rock coming from Brianna Weldon. She was the only female skip to have her name on the trophy at the Cape Cod mixed spiel. So it's always kind of I think fun to have your name on the trophy.
Oh yeah, a little bit of bragging rights.
Yeah.
Hey, Shaver goes back to Cape Cod. She can go see her name on the trophy.
Yeah.
No, that's a good fun fact.
Yeah.
I really like that one.
And they have a team fun fact. Apparently, San Dimas High School football rules. I have no independent information to verify such a claim.
We need the statistician to do a quick fact check for us.
I mean, it's equally possible that San Dimas High School football rules. I mean, it's hard to say.
It's a different era now too. So
I'm kidding. I'm sure that's a shout out to someone involved with San Dimas. But and also, it's really fascinating. When I was growing up, I never was super involved in sports, but it is fascinating as I've gotten older and just seeing how sports can really play really strong roles in
It can be a big community thing, right?
Yeah.
It's something for everybody to kind of look forward to.
Yeah.
Whether that's hockey in Canada, soccer in Europe,
or soccer in the U.S.
soccer in the U.S.,
For
football
you, yeah.
in the U.S. maybe,
Yeah.
curling in Arizona, brings people together.
Yeah, I know the NFL is going to try something new to try and bolster the popularity of the sport in Phoenix area in next month. I mean, I don't know how it's going to compete against the Donna. What's the last name of the?
The Donna Perkey.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the Donna
I know,
Perkey.
stiff competition, that's for sure.
But the big game is going to be here at Coyotes Curling Club that Sunday in February.
Absolutely.
Also, probably easier to get into.
Maybe.
So obviously, we're joking that the Super Bowl is going to be at the Glendale Stadium, and there's just so much advertisement and promotion around town for the event.
Hey, the last two Super Bowls here have been crazy endings, right? The Giants with David Tyree against the Patriots, that was here, and then the last one was the Russell Wilson not handoff to Marshawn Lynch, an interception at the 1 yard line. So, who knows what's in store this year?
I really thought that they had the best chance with the pass because, I mean, the higher percentage outcome, but there's always the low percentage chance that something could happen. And unfortunately, that's what happened. Where it's like, was it picked off, right?
It was picked off. We now know Malcolm Butler's name.
Let's see here. Looks like Sean's throwing some heat on the red. That's a missile.
Another missile.
Just one of the reds moving, but that's also going to stick in the back of the house. So Endicott down 3 here in the fourth, looking to generate some offense, and the play is being drawn to the house. I think maybe in a point of their advantage is that these rocks seem to be towards the back of the house, so they might be able to do something with it, with these rocks.
True. Now, see those two reds there are maybe set up to kind of draw down two, right? Kind of find yourself inside a pocket.
Mm-hmm. Well, then it also tend to force Siggins to either draw into the pocket themselves or to just keep blasting, right?
Right, it's true. We know Franny can throw some heavy weight. If he keeps throwing that, he's going to get tired.
That's also an interesting thing. People who might be watching this on TV or watching our feed, it's really challenging especially if you're a front end sweeper. The first two sweepers are the front end. The last two sweepers are called a back end. The front end, they're sweeping a lot of rocks, and then they have to kind of calm their heart down to be able to focus on delivering their shot.
It's like shooting pressure free throws. We're talking about every other sport, so basketball's next. Pressure free throws.
I just remembered that Phoenix had a basketball team.
This is true. If the Phoenix Suns actually first team here in Phoenix.
Yeah.
First professional team.
And I say that jokingly, but my first time in Phoenix, I think, was for the 5 and Under that they had in October 2019. So I went downtown, I saw the giant football stadium, I saw Bank One Ballpark.
That's right, yep.
Or whatever it's called now. It was fun calling it the Bob.
Oh, those are the days.
And so it's like, there's a football stadium. No, there's the arena. And I was thinking more of the Coyotes, but the Coyotes did not play there at the time. They played in Glendale.
True.
And I say, they have a basketball team too. And I'm slightly besmirching the NBA team because the Suns have had opportunities in recent years.
True, they've been fun to watch.
Yeah.
Most importantly, there was maybe some dark times there for a few years. Not so much fun to watch, but last few years they've been a lot of fun. As
opposed to the slightly woeful Arizona Coyotes, they renamed themselves a few years ago.
True.
More of the drama has been happening off the ice than it has been happening on.
You could say that. That's probably fair.
And so essentially the city of Glendale essentially evicted them from their old arena out in the west side of the city, and they are temporarily housed in a college arena at Arizona State. A very nice, modern college arena. However, it is at least a quarter of the size, if not smaller than the average NHL arena.
It's very, very small.
I hear it's a great atmosphere.
Supposedly, I haven't had a chance to get over there, but it's supposed to be very, very nice.
This is Kimberly Gaddy's first
Maybe our second here.
No, I see 3 yellows.
Oh, you're right.
In the back.
You're right.
And so one of my favorite hockey experiences. I lived in Upper Michigan, so it was really cool going to a game at the Calumet Coliseum, which was did it hog or did it pick?
Oh,
Or must have hogged perhaps.
It might have burned it actually.
Okay, that
I'm
would
not
make
sure.
sense.
It looked like it was going pretty fast.
Yeah, it wouldn't have hogged, so someone must have touched it accidentally. So that's an unfortunate miss. I like to say when I teach curling that curling is a game of sportsmanship and honor, like golf minus the cheating, and that means we call our own fouls. And so that's obviously it's a missed opportunity for Endicott, but that is the honorable thing to do according to the rules. And
absolutely.
Now Siggins chose to get rid of the guard. I think that makes sense, right? Because they don't want to have any cover for Endicott to draw to.
Sure, I think so. And one of their red stones might have been under that. Could have been some backing for him to get under.
Let's time this rock. I have a stopwatch because I'm one of those guys. I went to Continental Cup when it was in Vegas last, and I brought a stopwatch just to kind of keep myself entertained as the rest were going down the way. Looks like they're putting up a guard, just based on the time. That was about 17.1 seconds there.
Looks about where they wanted it here.
And the ice seems to be at speed, maybe a titch faster than I would think, because I've been timing about 14 to 14 and a half seconds to reach the tee line from timing from hog to hog. So looks like there's Siggins is asking to peel the guard as he makes his way down the ice. So another fun fact about Mike Siggins, he expertly brooms all of Joel Calhoun's releases, which I'm sure has to be an inside joke.
That sounds about right.
So really sweeping, just looking to peel here. Good peel, although it sticks the
it's actually
shooter.
Gonna stick around, so could be something for Adam Endicott here to draw under.
So this is actually, I think, creating something of a possibility for Endicott to at least get one, to maybe generate a deuce, because there is the guard now that we can see, and then if he draws to the red that is on the right side of the back 8 foot, he kind of gets a little bit behind cover, so Siggins can't just blast it out necessarily.
Right. There's some options there, I think, for this stone to end up.
But just has to make sure he gets there. So Adam Endicott, along with Travis Gaddy, won the 2019 and the 2022 U.S. Club National Championships. That must be fun. Have you been to a national championship?
I have not yet. We're hoping to go, since we finished second in MoPac men's this year. We're hoping to maybe sneak a second bid.
Right. So the way the Club Nationals is set up for people at home, and feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, that looks pretty good, actually.
That's a pretty good shot.
So there's 12 teams that can go to Club Nationals, but there are, I think, maybe 11 regions essentially right now or something. There's basically going to be one extra spot that is possible that could be allocated to the region that had the most teams enter the event.
And like you mentioned, there were, it was a great 18-team event that
we
had in San Francisco. So
the biggest field that we've seen in our region in quite some time. We also had 8 women's teams, which is a big field. It's double what we had the year before.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It was a lot of fun all the way around. Now, see, this was pretty good shot by Adam, because it's probably overburied under that guard, the top guard, but it's also kind of angled sitting on that back red, so you can't really come at it the other direction and try and get rid of it.
What do you think the call is here? It looks like he's going to throw maybe about hack weights.
It looks like what they're thinking about, but Siggins in the hack, maybe trying to adjust the shot a little bit. Doesn't see as much of that stone as he thought he did.
Yes, the over the shoulder shot that we have, it does look pretty buried. But again, what they see on the ice is different. So his last shot underway without the hammer here in the fourth.
Sweepers are going.
You could, that's about 12 seconds, so that is close to hack. It looks like it's shaping up to be pretty good. And my, oh my, what a shot. Does make contact on that yellow. The yellow rolls out.
Shot.
Yeah, and the shooter itself rolls to the back 8. So now he's Endicott is forced. There's not going to be a way that he can get a triple or quadruple and get out of the sand.
And like we said, taking stuff for granted, it is a draw against 3.
Yeah.
Albeit in the back of the house, but
so in this
nervy
case,
nonetheless.
Yeah. I mean, in this case, we talked about like how to miss a shot, and in this case, I would think missing slightly. I mean, obviously, you want to hit your weight, but if you're a little heavy, you have that backing to draw into, provided that you hit one of the stones.
It's true. I think that's probably the miss, right? You could be a little heavy, but you don't want that to get in your head either, right?
Yeah.
If you're think, hey, I can just draw down to those back ones, and you miss a little wide. All of a sudden, you're heavy and wide, and that doesn't do you any good.
That's a great point. So the weight looks pretty good. Sweepers were on it, and now they're just kind of walking it down, cleaning as it. Ooh, this could be bad.
Ooh, just maybe sticks in there.
Because it looked like it was going for the gap between the two reds on the right side.
For a moment.
Yeah, but it does stick around for 1, so Endicott draws a little closer to Team Siggins. Siggins will have the hammer and a 4-2 lead when we come back to the 2022 MoPac Mixed Championships. Just a quick note, well, they're going to take a 5-minute break, but just to let you know for legalistic purposes that this broadcast is brought to you presented by the authority of the Mountain Pacific Curling Association and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form without the express written consent of the Mountain Pacific Curling Association. On that note, let's go around the ring to sheet C and see what's going on with the game between Team McDonald and Team Maxey. And then we'll take maybe a brief breather so we can rest our voices for a little bit. But let's go see what's going on sheet C. On sheet C. Let's see here. On sheet C here, we have a situation where it is Team Maxey. Team Maxey does not have the hammer. It is McDonald's sitting shot rock and holding a 4-1 lead. Ooh, let's see, get a closer look here.
I messed up. That's really a shame.
So it's going to hit the yellow back onto the red. Oh, okay. I think I have the colors backwards. This has been a problem with me all week. It's actually that has the.
Maxey has yellow, and he's got last draw.
Okay, I see that now. So, okay, I did have it right. McDonald does have that 4-1 lead. Looking to see what sort of shot they want to do with their with McDonald's last year. Sorry for the shaky cam. Looks like they are going to be splitting the rings here. And force Team Maxey to 1. McDonald's rock is going down the ice. Both sweepers are going really hard. That's Brian Feldman and Ella Fleming. Looks like the weight's pretty good. It does needs to make sure it reaches the house. They want to keep it, I think, level with the other red that's in the house. And it's pretty close. Solid 8 foot there. And looking to see what Fred Maxey does here with his last shots. They're looking at, I think they're looking at the lines and the angles here.
Then you just swing back the other way. You gotta be a little bit.
I'm curious about what they're thinking about. They have the broom set to hit the red and I think roll toward the 8 foot on the other side. So a lot of times, you know, you kind of choose your shots based on what you feel comfortable with. A lot of people might want to draw in this situation because they get through the relatively large gap between the reds. They have the whole 8 foot area to draw to. In this case, Maxey is looking to hit, I believe. We'll see what he does, and I could be wrong. That is takeout weights. Fred Maxey's last year with the hammer, looking to, he's looking to hit against 2. Looks like they're trying to coax it over a little bit. This is maybe hanging out a little wide, but it looks really good. It rolls just ever so slightly to be full 8 foot, and so that is a score of 1 for Maxey to still trail a little bit, but it's a little bit better for Maxey. It's Team McDonald with a 4-2 lead as they go into the fourth end break here. So we're going to take a little bit of a breather ourselves, and we'll be right back to our coverage of the 2023 Mixed Playdown Playoffs coming to you from the Coyotes Curling Club. All right.
I might need Patrick's wheelchair. Where is it? I heard tonight he's got 8.
All right.
I heard you're going to comment with Brian. Oh, yeah. That would be Brian, you want Sean or do you want Garnet?
Let's go here. Go like this, better.
Rots in play. We are underway here in the fifth end. We took a pause to allow local stations to identify themselves.
As it were.
Which is something that happens at the top of the hour. It's a federal requirement. It's the bottom of the hour, so that's not a thing. But we're pretending like it is. This is a semifinal game between Team Endicott and Team Siggins, both of Coyotes. This has been it's been a pretty interesting game so far. It's been pretty close. The big key to this game so far is that it's Siggins that's been scoring 2s and essentially forcing Endicott to singles.
That's right. He has been effective, with hammer, but there really hasn't been a whole lot of missed shots, a whole lot of openings, right? It's really only been 1 to 2 misses here and there.
And that was Sean, by the way, on the 1s and 2s. No. And so the winner of this game will go on to the final tomorrow morning at, just to make sure I have the time correct, 10 a.m. Sunday is going to be the final. We had some time variations if there was a tiebreaker that was necessary, but no tiebreakers were needed as pool play concluded with a clear, speaking of ones and twos, teams in first and second place.
Yeah, unfortunately, chaos did not ensue.
And I was calling the matchups the Coyotes Centrifuge of Chaos.
And, and hey, you almost spoke it into existence.
I mean, I haven't used it yet for this sheet. I might start just to hopefully,
It's been, I think, too straightforward, too clean a game so far. That kind of chaos hasn't broken out here.
We need to enter the centrifuge and spin things around to see what shakes out. I may not know how centrifuges work. This is Sean's net rock coming for Team Siggins, looking to clear some rocks here in the guard zone. Gets 2 of them moving and 1 remains. It looks like Endicott is trying to build something along the left side of the sheet here, left side of the house.
Yeah, that stone in the 4-foot looks pretty protected.
Which also would explain why Siggins was asking Sean to blast at it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So this is Travis Gaddy now, and it looks like Endicott's asking him to hit the red and maybe roll towards the center, but not in a way to set up a double, which is, I think, something of a tricky shot. It's not a gimme. So the shot's underway. It's going to make contact, and it is going to roll. Ooh, it does roll a little heavy, and I think this is going to be a miss ultimately.
Just hit it a bit wide.
Yeah.
Jammed there into his own stone. Unfortunately,
so
the shooter's now sitting wide open.
Yeah, what was shaping up to be a possible steal, or just to make it a lot harder for Siggins, is now a little easier for Siggins and Sean here because that yellow shot stone is wide open as Sean throws his nets here.
Now, for my armchair back here, it didn't look like there was, Endicott gave a ton of ice there. But again, that's from the armchair.
And we are playing with the wall. So Siggins' rock hits the shot stone and it rolls towards the left. From this view, it's going to be to the right from the top-down view. So it looks like Endicott could try the hit and roll with Kimberly Gaddy's first here. Although that does seem to have the advantage if she hits and rolls, it's probably going to roll towards the back of the house. It's probably going to be more important the line where it ends up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Travis is sweeping, I think, to hold the line. It's going to hit just close to nose, and it rolls over. So it rolls open. So I think not the best outcome that they could have hoped for.
Just maybe needed 2 more feet on that roll. Again, tough to be that precise in some scenarios.
So this is Claire Blaskey's first. Claire read an entire book between the first and second game. Mike had to bring her additional books. So the first bio that they had for Claire just said she's very smart, because I guess she was kind of rattling off some of her academic credentials and stuff. And
perfect.
Yeah.
Beautiful shot.
Yeah, had that dialed in. It's also kind of great just to talk to curlers here, and they really do come from all walks of life. I mean,
absolutely.
Siggins, I think, is a restaurateur, as it were.
He is a restaurateur / accountant in a past life, I think.
And then definitely, I think we have a pediatrician on the ice in the morning game, and it's really nice to meet all sorts of people. So curling it can be for everyone, and I know, yeah. And I know we definitely also tend to be as welcoming as we can. I know there's talk about how we can be more welcoming to people who have not necessarily been represented in the sport before or as much before, people of color, disadvantaged groups, etc. And I'm sure it's something that we're all working on, which I think is also great, because this is a great sport and it's a great opportunity to share it with as many people as possible.
Sure, and I think age is a big thing too, right? You can play with people from 10 years old to 85 years old, right?
Well, yeah, and
everybody can kind of do it.
That's a great thing. I was thinking as a possible program to offer curling as an introduction in schools. They have floor curling, where you don't need the eyes. You have
Yes.
yeah.
You see those types of commercials on TSN all the
Oh
time.
yeah. Rocks and rings.
Yes,
with
absolutely.
an ad that was noted it was recorded before COVID, which is always important to distinguish.
In the before times, that's
Yes.
right.
No, but with floor curling, then work with curling centers to offer, say, hey kids, you learn how to curl. Here's like a gift certificate for a learn to curl for you and your family, to kind of encourage the family to come on down to the curling center as well to check it out.
Absolutely, something you can do with your kids,
Yeah.
grandparents. Lots of fun.
So this is shaping up to be a bit of another tricky end for Endicott here.
It was another great shot by
Claire.
Claire Blasky there. Really kind of blocked off the draw path, right? So not only sitting 2, but gosh, you can't really get to that shot stone.
I think they could. It looks like they had the broom also set to try and kind of angle that red rock that the broom's next to onto the shot stone and try a double takeout that way.
That might be the next best thing, right? You won't get under cover, but maybe limits of the damage at this point.
Facing 2, this is Endicott's first rock here.
Sweeping for line.
Looks like it's going
Now
to.
he calls him off.
Yep, he calls him off. Gets rid of 1, and then the one of the reds rolls open. So that I think that's, you're saying that might
Pretty
be the
good
best.
shot.
Yeah,
That's a pretty good shot right there. You didn't get them both, but you probably got the one you couldn't get to, or you were going to have trouble getting to. And of course, move this one out from, still wide open.
yeah. Siggins does have the hammer, so he has 2 more chances to affect the outcome of the end. We call it the hammer in curling. Now, for you, when you curl, how important do you think it is to have the hammer? Because like sometimes, depending on the team you play, sometimes you can just feel like a demon, and then when it comes to trying to score with the hammer, it's a struggle.
Sure, yeah. Everybody has those days where it's like, okay, maybe we just take one and get rid of hammer. We don't want it anymore. Like, let's try to junk it up. But hey, in these types of events, right, at the higher level you go, it gets just that much more and more important, right? Like, looking back to men's playdowns, right? We in semifinals we had hammer in 8, took it away. In the finals we didn't have hammer and weren't able to come up with it. So you play 8 ends, but it could all come down to that 8th end hammer.
So this definitely looks like Siggins wanted to control the front and control access to the shot stone. So it is Siggins sitting 2. The shot stone is the one in the back 4. Hard to see from that angle. It's the one that's closest to, or it's the one that's furthest away from us, closer to the Siggins and the rest of the team. What do you think the strategy could be here? She has the broom set for a draw. That's kind of what I was leaning towards.
It's a tough call. It's definitely another predicament for Endicott here.
He could try the double again, and then.
The problem with the draws, right? You don't make it perfect on this freeze. Give him an opportunity for 3, right? Kind of poke something out, get for 3.
So,
but Mike made a nice draw, and right, you can't see all that red stone, so it's certainly nerve-wracking to be.
They're taking their time to talk about it. This is going to be a key shot here for Endicott. As they look at it, they are not calling it a time out yet. They have over 16 minutes of time to look at things over. By them moving down the ice, we can actually have a really good look from the over-the-shoulder view.
The house view over here.
I think if they hit this,
that double might not be there. It might.
Oh, because that yellow, that
right,
yellow.
Those angles might not quite be set up because you might have to get.
But when you look at it from the overhead,
on the overhead, it looks like it's there. From the shooter's perspective, it probably looks pretty tight.
Okay, so actually, yeah.
Now, where's my telestrator?
I
here?
know.
See, then we can start drawing lines and angles here.
I would almost think that, okay, so the issue is, do you draw to the button and almost you have to weld it onto the shot rock in the back to the button to really have a chance in this sense.
Absolutely, and those stones aren't very far apart, right? So there's
Right.
not a lot of room to get around the top red, but then also get to the back red.
And so one thought, we're looking at doing the double. I think if they hit it, they can't hit it thin. They need to hit it, I think, solid nose to get both rocks moving. And I think the question is, can they get to the nose? They are putting the broom to try the double takeout, so we will see if there is enough ice there. I mean, if they hit it slightly to the left of center from this view, they still might be able to get both rocks moving. But again, if it hits it thin, it's gonna only jut one of the reds out, and that could also be that maybe they're conceding 2 and not giving up 3 in this position.
Yeah, getting rid of the possibility of 3 might be the call here.
So lots of pressure again on Team Endicott.
Sweeping for line.
It looks pretty good, actually.
Looks close.
Ooh, it is there. Oh, okay. So it did jam a little bit.
Do end up getting rid of 1.
Yeah.
And shoot, it didn't look like it cleared those guards by a whole lot.
No, it did not.
I'm not sure that double may have been there.
That's a very solid point.
Tough call.
And so now Brianna has the broom down for Mike to just essentially draw the 4-foot. Even touching the 4-foot is going to get him 2. But you know that did put Endicott in probably the best possible position.
Probably, and it's again not a gimme draw here, right? You gotta touch 4. Sweepers are down.
So Mike Siggins likes Oreos.
Really?
Fun fact.
I mean, did you ask him if he makes his own? He being a chef and all.
Artisan Oreos. When they just hear the Choco Taco, it was great to see so many people talk about, oh, we have our own Choco Tacos. This shot is on the money.
Beautiful.
He might not make Oreos, but he made that shot to score another 2. And again, fitting that pattern where when Siggins has a hammer, he is able to convert with another deuce there, taking a 6-2 lead. And you know, the score is this way, but it's been a close game.
It's been a close game. That hammer efficiency,
yeah,
I think, is the official statistic.
Indeed. So taking a break on our feature sheet, looking to see what's going on sheet C. It's also kind of nice that our sheet's a little ahead, so we can look over.
This is true. They're pacing this very well for us.
I know. Looks like we are seeing the first of skip stones. Looks like Maxie's going to throw some takeout weight here and walk over. So as the warm room said, they just missed it. Maxie just missed it. And again, Team Maxie is facing 2 red McDonald rocks in the house. McDonald is sitting 1, 2. Maxie is sitting 3 and 4. So Fred Maxie has some work to do here. And McDonald is in a great position. Back on our feature sheet, it looks like Team Siggins just put a rock in the back button there. That was Brianna Weldon with her first. We'll revisit sheet C in just a moment while we go back to checking on our feature sheets. First rock coming from the Endicott lead, Cassie Endicott. She and Adam were Missouri state champions, we assume, since we think there was only one Bonspiel in Missouri and they won it once. So nice to have that confidence. So this shot, Endicott needs a corner guard, and this is maybe going to be...
Might slip in here.
Yeah, it does indeed slip in. So a bit of a miss because you want to put up guards to hide rocks behind to generate multiple chances for multiple points. So next rock coming from Brianna. She says the women's team are called the Raccoons for many reasons, but one was because they steal more points than they earn with a hammer. Although there's been no steals in this game, as far as I remember.
No steals.
Yeah.
No steals. And looking at both sheets, kind of mirror images of each other. Red doing very well with hammer. Yellow tending to be forced here.
Yeah, and it looks like Fred Matsey has just a super tough situation. I am going to walk back over there. This is definitely a fly-by-wire type situation here, where it's like, let's go see what's going on over there.
Of course.
So Fred Matsey still facing 2, I think, looking for a draw here with his lasts. That looks a little more upweight than what I was thinking he was going to do. I think he might be trying to run back the yellow onto the red. I still don't know what he's doing. Sweepers are going really hard. It looks like the rock was slower than I thought it was. It is going to be a draw. Going to rest right on the button just behind the tee line. So nice draw. He had me fooled.
Talk to Ryan and talk about how Hollywood curling
So Matsey's shot, it looks like he's partially buried behind a cluster of stones along the center line. It doesn't seem like McDonald can see much of it, so it looks like they might be trying to draw down to it. With a heavy draw weight, it looks like maybe back line to hack weights. I'm going to guess.
We're on the sheet. We play our game.
And if you win, you get your chip. If you don't.
Looking at sheet A, Team Endicott is looking to go around the center corner guard that they put up, or looking to hit a Siggins stone. Okay, that's what they did. So I think looking to get around those guards and with enough energy to kick out the shot stone yellow. This is Andy McDonald's last here. If she does move the Matsey yellow back, she can score a quick number of 2 or 3.
She was tight.
Brian Feldman is sweeping it. I think also to maybe help encourage it to curl maybe a little bit more. Andy calls it. Let's see. Looks like she has it. The yellow gems in the back.
No. Everybody gets.
Andy McDonald rolls the shooter out, but it's still a score of 2 for Team McDonald. So she's going to take a 6-2 lead. So again, it's hammer efficiency on both sheets. Team McDonald getting the deuces with the hammer, and Matt's not able to generate more than a single when he's had the last shot advantage.
Big shot by McDonald there.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Good weight, good sweep. How does it feel when there's like a solid team shot? You know, because when everything's working, the person calling the line, the sweepers, and then obviously the person throwing the rock.
You know, I think it's just big confidence builder, right? I mean, get everybody feeling good, get everybody a lot of chatter on the same page. You know, it just kind of builds confidence for the rest of the game. And hey, McDonald's, that team seems to be playing with a lot of confidence.
So here, Endicott, I think, is trying to get something going. He did put up a successful corner guard, I think, with Cassie's second, but not able to really capitalize on it yet because there's rocks in the house, and I think just wanting to kind of start moving things around in the house to set something up.
So after that corner guard, Siggins drew another one into the house, which Endicott then kind of tapped back. That's the one kind of in the back 8 foot there that the yellow is now kind of sitting on.
So sweepers are going really hard. I think they hold the line. I think they're going to move the yellow out. They don't need to stick the shooter, although they do.
They will, so whew.
So good shot there from Claire Blasky. Endicott, though, has a chance to kind of hit and then roll into the pile a little bit with Kimberly Gaddy's first shot.
Good opportunity to try and get her to recover as well.
Yeah. So this is kind of a textbook game in a sense. I mean, both like the teams that are being able to convert with a hammer, just being able to see, you know, teams are obviously all these teams are doing their best. Just being able to see how one team on both sheets A and C is just able to convert just a little bit better than the other team and get those twos, and the other team's being forced to ones. And
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Hey, that can make all the difference. Now, actually, they opted not for the hit and roll.
Oh, yeah.
But just a straight draw down to those back reds.
And that makes sense. Like sometimes you try to, you know, I think when I look at games, like you try to, you know, call the game like it's supposed to be called, but sometimes like you just have to make your shots, and so sometimes you might change
Absolutely.
the strategy. Like, you know, like okay, like the book says you should maybe do more takeouts, but we're not hitting our takeouts, so we got to try something
Sure.
different.
Or you feel better about your draw weight, or feel better about your hit weight coming out online.
So Claire,
A little curl here.
and that's why, you know, drawing into the pocket has an advantage, because it hit the yellow, it pushed the yellow back, but then, you know, that yellow's still around, so it can still potentially come into play later in the end.
Now it is tough to tell who's shot there.
They were looking
I
at it
guess
pretty
really
hard.
for second stone.
Yeah, second stone. From the overhead, it looks a little red.
Now your eyes are probably better than mine. It's close.
This is Kim Gaddy's second, and I think they're just going to try the draw again. I think maybe just kind of keep putting them in, see, you know, if the rocks, move the rocks around and see if they can come out with a couple. And also it is setting up for a two at this point, because
Yeah,
they're going under the cover, and so at some point they want to kind of make sure that yellow is secure. This is going to curl into the guard.
It's
Yeah,
gonna come up way short.
unfortunate there. And like sometimes the rocks behave differently. For you, do you go out and kind of test the rocks to see which ones are cutters, as they were, or the ones that, you know, tend to run straighter? Cutters are the ones that dig in and curl more.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. You know, you definitely try to. That's something that you might take with you into the pregame practice, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, test out some of the rocks before you start your LSDs,
Yep.
right, to determine hammer.
Last shot draw, or
Yep.
a draw shot challenge, as it's been renamed, because, you know, USA Curling wants to prove to people that, hey, we're not druggies anymore. It is kind of crazy that there's been some wild men of curling and stuff. It's like some of that wild men is like, oh, they don't shave, and there was one curler that had a pizza delivered to him on the ice during a championship game or something like that.
You know, those curlers, you know, you talk about diversity, and, you know, everybody comes from a different background, that's for sure. So you get a wide cast of characters.
Well, then also, so just, getting back to you know, kind of testing the rocks. It's called matching rocks, as you know. But that's the process that they go out like during a big tournament. There's extra practice time often after this, you know, at night after the last contest. And so they would have like the fifth and a coach go out and kind of test all the rocks to see which ones are going to, you know, curl more or be more straight.
Now it is tough before this event, so maybe week and a half ago, they did paper the rocks. We had some of the ice troubles over the winter break. Normally, ice crew goes ahead and papers rocks kind of over the holidays. Since we didn't get an opportunity for that, so that kind of got pushed up closer to this event. So those rocks being papered, some of them are behaving a little bit differently.
Yeah.
So, you know, some folks' notes may not have been as up to date.
And if you want to really screw with people's nose, you change the rock handles around.
True. Hey, whatever it takes.
So just for the people at home who might be new to the game, papering the rock is using a high-grade sandpaper. It's a high grit, and all you need is to just kind of rough the bottom of the stones ever so slightly. You can screw up a set of rocks really easily if you do it incorrectly. But they just, you know, do kind of a couple passes, 1, 2, I think, on the rocks, just to add a little bit of a little bit more texture to the bottom of the rock to help the stone, you know, I think dig in a little bit more or curl a little bit more is one of the intended outcomes of sandpapering?
Yeah, it's to help kind of help with curl, right? Make sure the rocks don't straighten out too much or anything. I'm not allowed to do that kind of manual labor, so.
Well, yeah, you definitely want to have
practiced hands. You need practiced hands.
You want to have people who are experienced, and like I said, these stones cost $800 a piece, and that's a huge investment for any club. And you definitely don't want to waste $800 per rock by not knowing what you're doing.
Absolutely. We've had a couple of very nice draws here.
Oh yeah, that's really kind of changed the tenor of the end. And again, it looks like Siggins is really pushing Endicott to just take one here as he gets set. Well, I guess
weight here.
Another advantage of texturing the rocks is that you have this top flight competition coming next week, the Golden Wrench, the Ed Wernick Golden Wrench Classic here. Siggins is throwing heat here. Let's see what it does. It chips out the yellow. Wow.
What a shot.
And so that leaves Siggins sitting the first two rocks. Endicott is clearly three, but there's no easy way to get rid of the two, I think, especially with those high corner guards.
Yeah, I think you're settling for one, which is going to be awful painful.
But again, just a well executed end by Team Siggins.
That's a big shot. I mean, you couldn't run down and move those stones with your feet any better, right? I mean, chipping it out, not touching the red in the back four there.
So it looks like Siggins is going to dial up a hit for one. And as I've been talking about, there's going to be different ways to score, and going with what you're comfortable with. And so, like these teams, especially a lot of Coyotes teams at this top level, are more comfortable hitting in these types of scenarios than drawing. And it's nice when it works.
Yeah, absolutely. There's that edge that anybody can throw it hard, but you might not. Not everybody can throw it hard and be on target.
Right. Well, and also the rotation is important too. Each player, when they release a stone, they twist it like a dial back towards 12 to give it a rotation. And this does hit on the schnoz, good for one. So again, this has been a pretty textbook game, especially executed by Siggins. As the score is now 6-3, Siggins over Endicott. So we'll be right back to our feature sheets. Gonna fire up the old Roman camera. Let's see here, Stefan.
Go mobile.
How many rocks are left in that on C? 3 per team? Okay, so we'll go over in a minute.
Spotter had some doubts there, though.
Definitely a huge thanks to Sean for joining us on this broadcast. It's been a lot of fun. Good to
absolutely. Thanks for having me, Ryan.
Yeah, good to get some insights and helping to share knowledge for people. Hopefully it's been entertaining for both people who are new and old to this game. I know like some of the broadcasts you see on TV, especially NBC, it's like, here are the rules to curling. Each team has 8 rocks.
Well, I'm having fun, so that's what matters most, I think.
Well, I think it's good to have fun because I think that carries across in the broadcast, as long as there's not too many inside jokes that viewers might not get.
True.
Because if I call a sit center and an Eagle Montoya, only a certain number of people on the broadcast are going to get that.
Very true.
But then I get to explain the joke, and it's fun again. So it looks like we're going to go to skip stones in a moment. I'll definitely kind of see what skip stones are in store on sheet C. As rocks are in play on our A sheets. Let's see here. So we're going to mosey over to sheet C to join the action between Team McDonald and Team Maxey, the defending champions.
Left center line, about 10 feet out.
So it looks like we're to skip stones here on sheet C, the game between Team McDonald with the Red Rocks holding a 6-2 lead over Team Maxey, the defending champions, and playing with the Yellow Rocks.
Anything on this side of the center line?
Looks like McDonald has control of the house, sitting 3. Definitely 3. There's a yellow that's just biting the 12-foot on the upper left side, as you can see it on this view.
My hands are in my pockets. My hands ain't coming
So this is Skip Andy McDonald's first rock, I believe, at the end. We are to skip stones here. The coach in the warm room is calling for just basically putting the rock, I think, in the top 12 foot. That seems to be where they're going. Just kind of, closing off access to the button for Maxey to score anything, really. Sweepers are going. Now they're just playing. It looks like it went maybe a little deeper than they were playing, but it does lock on to the red that is in the touching the 4-foot ring there. It does give Maxey, I think, a chance to blow things up a little bit. People are saying a triple in the warm room. I think I can see it.
Over here, saying what it is. Ready for one, and then goes over there to take back.
That is true. You do never miss a shot in the warm room.
If I wasn't coaching, I would give you. I would bet all.
So.
Triple for one. Here we go.
Nope. So a tough shot for Fred Maxey, but if he is able to make this, it does change things up a little bit. So let's see here.
Yeah, exactly.
Looking for a triple here. This is Fred Maxey with his first.
Triple to set one. Reimagine not that. Yeah, he's pushed him wide. That's why.
Looks like it's pretty good. He's got one. He's got two. But one of the Reds jams. So that was super close. But as they say, close only works in hand shoes and horse grenades, or horseshoes and hand grenades. There we go.
I haven't seen Sonson in about 2 weeks.
He did say he was thinking about it.
So still a great shot. It does cut McDonald down to 1.
He said he was getting a little tired.
So it looks like, though, McDonald is going to be able to hit out the Maxey yellow that's sitting in the top 8 foot and force Maxey to make a shot for just 1. So again, a textbook game on sheet C as well. Really quickly switching to the action on our feature sheets. Our feature sheet here, Siggins has a rock in the top 12. And it looks like Endicott is making a play on looking to, I think, draw around perhaps. Looks like the sweepers are on it now. They took a step back. It's going to sit down just at the top of the guard zone. Now looking at, oh goodness, okay, not too bad. So McDonald does make contact on the Maxey rock with her last. It is McDonald sitting to 1. And Fred Maxey, he's looking to line up a run back a mid guard onto the yellow, onto the red. This is a tricky shot. Maybe a little easier for people who have done it before. If it was me on arena ice, this would be, I don't know if I would go for it, but I just also, he needs to get 2 to have a chance to get back into this game. So this is definitely could be a turning point in the game for Fred Maxey, the defending champs from a year ago. So looking for a run back, Fred Maxey, yellow onto red. Last shot here, 6 ends.
It's not real money, so we make
This looks really close. Front end's on it.
No, it's white. It's white.
It was wide. Oh, it does. The yellow that they were trying to run back there goes wide, and it's going to be a steal of 1 for Team McDonald's on sheet C. So just an unfortunate situation for Team Maxey, but terrific for Team McDonald's in firm control of this game. Shifting back to our feature sheet action. Also in the NFL, the Philadelphia Eagles are easily winning their game. So, people tune in to our broadcasts for curling first and foremost, and then secondarily just random updates of NFL games. So,
We're not quite sure what it is.
Around the sport.
yeah, go around the sport.
I don't know, but we're gonna.
The NFL might not be happy about me retransmitting or rebroadcasting the NFL game without their express written consent, but
Well, I won't say anything if you don't.
thank you, I appreciate it. So it looks like, again, Endicott's chasing a little bit here on a sheet A.
Trying to set up the steal, they had a couple guards out front, couldn't quite draw around, kind of ticked, and then Freeney came up big with another huge up weight.
And this rock hogged, it looks like. They're moving it off the sheet.
Looks like it didn't quite get there.
So tricky situation, and losing a rock like that when you need a lot of rocks in play to have a chance is just unfortunate. As some people might say, unlucky. But it looks like this is and that's rock coming from Claire Blasky. Do you think that it looks like they're maybe just clearing the red? It's not doing them any
it looks like
good
they're
at this point?
just clearing their own, kind of keep it as clean as possible.
Oh yeah, so there was a guard that they made contact with, and the shooter's going to roll wide. Not there's a condo line happening on the left side of this sheet here.
It's true. It's almost like they planned this.
Also, the condo line, we're going to have the Coyotes Conga curl off in 2 weeks, in between the Golden Wrench and the Donna Purdy.
Potentially, hey, put that in the suggestion box for the fall fiesta. Congo line.
Also, talking about like things that you don't want to do on the ice unless you want to severely annoy your ice tech, and also risk bodily harm. I was suggesting like a water balloon fight.
Also a suggestion. We have our hotter than hell bonspiel at the end of the year, and then we go out ice skating afterwards before we melt the ice. That might be an option.
Yeah.
Helmets may be required, but.
Well, and I also like water balloon fight would be the absolute worst because you don't want to have like liquid water on the ice because that just makes everything super slippery and
just cold.
Yeah. We're being joined by Patrick McDonald here. How are things going, coach and father?
I'm just going to say one thing. I'm coaching, so that way I can't really say a whole lot, but I hope everybody that's listening says thank you to the 2 guys, the 3 guys that are sitting here commentating, setting up the cameras, and Ryan and the crew are doing an amazing job. So you guys just keep doing what you're doing, and I'll step in tomorrow if need be.
Well, it looks like you might be needed to coach on the ice, or because right now, not to put the horse before the cart. I was saying the team McDonald does seem to be in control of the game on sheet C right now.
The team has been working great, and there's no questioning, no nothing. They're just out there doing them. They lost one. They're still on track. They're not afraid of nothing, and whoever said juniors can't do anything, what?
Well, also we were saying throughout this event, we're seeing a lot of younger players come up, and they're really showing that they can hang around and definitely even prevail against some of these older, more veteran teams.
I think, I mean, yeah, that's correct. You could take a look at the Midwest and stuff. There's a lot of right around that 18, 20-year-old curlers that are, they've banded together and they want to start going after normal events. Mm-hmm. I guess you could say grown-up events, whatever. Besides the U21 juniors and stuff, they're out there just going, you know what, we've watched these guys on TV since I was 10, and now I'm 20. Now I want to do something. So they're just, they're out there having fun, and it looks like Andy and crew is hanging in there.
Well, and famously, just in terms of like youth movement and stuff, Team Homan, when they were juniors, they entered into like an adult women's event, and they won the whole darn thing.
Yep, exactly. So don't be afraid of juniors unless it's Halloween. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Patrick.
Thanks, Coach. A lot of fun, a lot of confidence over on sheet C.
Yeah. Looks like here, this is Siggins with his first here in the 7th end. Am I losing track of the ends here?
Nope, we are.
This is the 7th end. So yeah, definitely. I think Endicott needs to get something going in this end, or else. It's the playoffs, so I think they'll probably start the 8th end at the very least, but it might not go and not last very long.
Hey, all they need is to get sink one.
Yeah,
right?
That's true.
One right at the end. Keep themselves in it.
It's been tricky for Endicott to find any sort of edge against Siggins here, as Siggins.
Now that was a little bit of a half miss, though.
Yeah, I would agree. Looks like so they were trying to draw around. Do you think
that's what it looked like?
Yeah.
Right. So now there's the whole 4-foot is open for Endicott to draw to.
And so for Endicott, it looks like they are looking at the other side to draw. I guess, I mean, depending on your inclination, you could hit those two reds on the right and the center and get them both moving, but that might not. They're not looking at it. What do you think why that is?
I think being down, so they're down 3, don't have hammer in this end. It's probably to their advantage just to junk everything up, right? So more stones in play, more things to run into. That's probably the strategy here, right? Just leave them, something to kind of get in the way of this draw, hopefully.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if they did the takeout, there wouldn't be any cover for that yellow that would have remained. And so by drawing around, it needs to get there, but if they're sitting shots buried, then Siggins is going to have to change things up to try and get access to that shot
Absolutely. It's a lot tougher shot. This is coming in.
It looks like it needed to finish a little bit more, but Endicott was not super happy, kind of doing a little, what would you call that with the broom? Like a little wave of the broom or a little swipe of the broom? Don't want to
swipe might be a good verb.
Yeah, don't want to mischaracterize what he did, because people can do violent things with their brooms on the ice, because we are human. We do try to act courteously and professionally, but sometimes people get emotional on the ice. It happens, but that was just a swipe.
And frustrating that one. Gosh, one more foot and you're probably half under, feeling a lot better.
Yeah. And so it looks like Siggins is just going to take out that yellow that was put into the top of the house. Even if it crashes on the guard, that's not too bad. It looks like it's there, though. Shot made. Shot stone rolls out. The shooter also rolls out. So just it looks like Siggins is on fire
just
tonight.
Poke it out there.
Yeah.
And it looks like it'll be handshakes.
Oh, goodness, that is it. Oh, that was also the last right at the end. So it was 2 again. Was it definitely 2 or was it
2.
more?
It was 2.
Definitely 2
for Siggins. Puts them up 5.
Yeah, and just insurmountable.
That was enough.
Yeah. Goodness. What a game. How would you characterize the game? I've been calling it textbook, but I mean.
There wasn't. It was pretty clean overall in the sense that, there wasn't a whole lot of, man, I got to hit this run back or hit this tap back. It just came down to that hammer efficiency, right?
Yeah.
Siggins started with hammer and took 2 in every odd end.
Yeah. And in terms of curling strategy, I think that if you were to look up, kind of you set goals for the end. You want to score 2 with the hammer, force the other team to 1, and that if you're checking off a lesson plan. It's
Absolutely, they definitely stayed in control of that game. Didn't let anything get away from them, and kind of just stayed with it.
Yeah.
I know, I was just gonna say,
So that makes the final 8-3 on our feature sheet. We're gonna maybe shift over to sheet C to see the end of Maxie and McDonald. Fun to say.
I think so. They're also now in the 7th end.
That's true, and then Maxie is facing a bit of a jam in terms of trying to generate some offense, needing to steal to get back into this game. So I'm going to get my camera set up. Just to let you guys know that with the win, Siggins has punched his ticket into the final tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. We're going to go over and see who is going to join him in the matchup. But before we go, do you want to kind of join the commentary? You want to?
Yeah, I'll mosey over there with you.
Yeah, sure. So let me get the camera set up and we'll head over. So they are playing away, so we're going to do kind of an alternate camera view here. Let's see here. Looks like we're seeing the last of the third stones here. Let's see here. Please excuse our dust while we get the ice set up. All right, 1 second, please. All right. So we are now shifting over to the feature sheet C. So McDonald is playing Red Rocks. Looking at the overhead here, it looks like McDonald is sitting 1 and 3, and Max is sitting 2 and 4. And so I believe that the kind of the thank you. So it is kind of we're trying to balance showing what's happening on the actual sheet and then showing a shot of the monitor overhead to see where they're aiming at.
We are in the rowdy section of the crowd now.
Yes. The people who have been celebrating since the end of their last game are definitely feeling a little warm, as it were. In good spirits, as they might say. So this is Andy McDonald's shot. I think just looking to put a rock, I would think top 8, just make it really super hard for Max to get any of her rocks out. Sweepers, they're really pounding the rock here. I can zoom in a little bit. And it looks like it did get to the top 12. Yeah. It does give Maxie something to draw to. So if you look at the overhead here, there's the overhead. So it looks like Maxie has a path, and that's where he has the broom. I mean, he can hit and sit for shots, and then he'd be sitting 2. But then all McDonald really has to do is just like even draw down to it to outcount Maxie. What are you seeing there?
I didn't quite see the call, but if you can also try to kind of hit and roll back under his corner.
Oh yeah, I can see that, and that actually could be the shot that they're doing. Yeah, we haven't seen the ice, and sorry for the shaky cam. I'm balanced on one knee here, which is maybe not the best for camera stability. All right, now I'm on 2 knees. This is Maxie here with his first, and he just set something up here too. He doesn't need to be sitting 2 at this point in the end.
Looks like control weight.
So there's a bit of a crowd here. Let's shift up to the overhead. Looks like it's going to hit on the okay. Not too bad. I think it accomplishes half of what he was trying to do there.
Got the roll. I think he pushed his stone from 2nd to 3rd, maybe. Looks like it.
Yeah. So he's sitting 1, 3, 4, and it's McDonald sitting 2 and 5. Because there's a red at the top 12 there. As it looks like McDonald is still talking over the shot. Sorry for blasting the phone volume. Is it just the volume there? So what do you think you would do if you were McDonald here in this situation?
I think
She's looking at it.
my first instinct was to draw down to that yellow stone that they just like the vice kind of pointed at.
Yeah.
They initially looked like they might have been drawn the other direction, but now the shot may have changed based on that broom.
So in this case, McDonald stole one in this end, so it's Maxey that has the hammer. But Maxey definitely needs to score at least a couple here. At least 2, ideally 3 or more.
They definitely need 2. The scoring here, they'll go home without the hammer.
Indeed. So this is Andy McDonald's last here as it goes down the ice. Supers are going at it really hard. It looks like it's on target, although we're slightly to the side of the sheet, so it's hard to tell for sure if it's really...
They've started back up again.
Andy calls them off, as it looks like this shot is really close. Ooh.
Just a little short.
So this does give Maxey a chance, if he's able to hit the red that's in the back 12, to get 4. I think he could get 4.
4 mathematically is possible. I don't quite, from our view down here, it looks like that red is pretty buried under the top red.
But it's also almost 12 feet apart from each other.
This is true.
So obviously, you know, you can't throw high heat at it, but if you throw like heavy hack perhaps.
Well, you only end up having to move that stone
a foot.
A couple of feet, I think, to
yeah.
get 4.
So it looks like that they are set up for a hack weight, just based on he has the broom. It looks like about 2.5 feet of ice, just from the overhead. Lots of pressure here for Maxey, although he has a chance to get back to this game in a one fell swoop if he makes this shot.
Big shot here, Ryan.
Indeed. I mean, this is probably the game here. As we have Bohemian Rhapsody to, you know, to set the tone here for Fred Maxey's last here with the hammer. Looking for a big number here. This looks pretty close.
It's close. Sweepers are close.
Needs to make sure it's around the high red. It's around the high red. Oh
no! Only 2, not 3.
So only 2.
My oh my.
Not 3.
So did it wick on?
Looks like it just hit that top red.
Oh man.
But only redirected it enough to nose the back one for I think only 2.
Just 2. So it looks like they're retreating to their respective sides. So it looks like at least we're going to start this 8th end. We'll see. McDonald is leading 7-4 right now. So.
Sorry, guys.
So, scenario stands, as you were saying.
Yeah.
7-4 in favor of McDonald.
Oh, yeah.
McDonald with hammer.
The percentages are in favor of McDonald here.
Absolutely. You still gotta make them though.
Yeah.
And these are the pressure ones for sure.
Indeed. So let's kind of shift to our other angle that we have seats. We'll rejoin you in a second. Oh. My knees. Ah! The headphones aren't doing anything. All right. So we're back live to the 8th end here and the game between Team McDonald and Team Maxey. The defending champions are chasing McDonald. McDonald has a 7-4.
And some excitement to start to end. We're measuring if this guard is on the center line.
Oh, that's a good point. So they're going to send the head ice official out. That's Stefan Brems from the Utah Olympic Oval Curling Club. And he's going to bring out the most scientific tool that we have to our use here. It's a triangle. So I've been joking. Like I think you watch hockey, right?
I've been forced to, yes.
So I was saying that the stone should glow red or glow its color if it's on the center line, kind of like how the Fox used to have the Fox Tracks pucks back in the 90s.
Wow.
Some hockey fans are not a fan of that idea, which makes sense.
Those I think are considered some dark days.
But it was also part of Fox's effort to make the sport more engaging for a broader audience. So obviously it wasn't super effective. Also, it's pretty costly based on the technology at the time, because each puck had to have a special battery pack that couldn't be replaced. And so anytime a puck was used with the Fox Tracks, it was done after 20 minutes or so. Yeah. So that's history today.
Today I learned, I think, is the internet term.
So let's see here. The score right now is, like I said, it's McDonald's 7, Maxi 3. McDonald has the hammer coming home here.
Maxi, perfect shots by his lead, 2 center line guards, both on the center line.
And so he needs to score 3 to tie to have a chance to force an extra end here.
McDonald counters by just going through.
And that's a fairly common strategy when you're up a certain number. This move could backfire.
There is a debate like, hey, maybe get one in, right? Team chasing can't really do anything with it to start the end, and then you've already kind of beaten them to the spot. But up 3 with hammer, probably good just to get rid of everything, or at least as much as you can.
Mm-hmm. So it looks like having the house open, they're looking to draw around those center darts. This is the second for Team Maxi. Maxi's lead was Gabrielle Coleman, and she threw 2 great center darts there. Gabrielle, pardon me.
This is another.
I'm going to go grab the team rosters. I'll be right back.
McDonald's just going to look to start clearing these guards here. Stone's coming. And touches 2, but only removes 1.
And those guards are spread apart now, so it provides a little bit more cover for Maxi to capitalize on.
Yeah, a little more cover, a little tougher to double them out.
And so Maxi's asking his second, Daniel Baresh, again to draw around. He had great weight last time. Let's see how he does on the other side of the ice here, other side of the sheet. Gabrielle and Michelle Wagner are sweeping. It looks like it's over curling here.
It looks like they've audible to the tap.
Not enough force to really move it into the house, though.
No. But not bad. I mean, you still need guards. You don't want to go in too early.
Right. But you also need to make sure you have enough counters to tie.
You do also need 3.
I was told there was not going to be any math, but there is a certain calculation you need to determine on when to go into the house to take control of the end to steal 3 here. It's setting up pretty good, and as Ella Fleming is throwing a takeout here, she does get rid of 1, but there's like a mini Rock to Gibraltar in front of the house there.
It's true. That's true. That's kind of what Maxi was hoping for, right? Kind of let McDonald leave maybe one of their stones, try to clear the guards, hit nose, and leave a guard themselves.
Yeah.
And now there's no real run back opportunities.
It's also going to take McDonald at least 2 shots to clear those guards, because she would probably need to at least run the red onto the yellows, maybe double those yellows out, and then another shot to get rid of the reds. So this actually might be a good time to go into the house, as
it looks like they're trying to do.
Michelle Wagner is now delivering the net stroke for Team Maxi. Their jackets, I don't know if you can see, they have a flag that's kind of a combination of different elements of the clubs that they belong to. Maxi, of course, is from Coyotes. Gabrielle is from the Bay Area, and both Wagner and Baresh are from the Dakotas territory. So, and the draw around is made. It looks a smidge on the heavy side, but it looks mostly covered.
Not too shabby, though.
Yeah. McDonald is just looking to get rid of that cover, calling for a takeout from the third for McDonald. That's going to be Zach Brendan. And Zach Brendan's had some good shots all weekend long. And like to get rid of, he does a double, but it's 1 red and 1 yellow. Still not bad. And now it's just a lonely yellow guard in front of the house. And
it's a good shot.
Yeah,
that's a good shot.
And also they did some cleanup on the sides too, so there's not an option to maybe do an in-off on a rock on the wings or anything like that. So again, Michelle Wagner is being asked to draw around down the same path. Also, like people kind of say that the ice might slow down as the game progresses. The game, the pebble that's put on top of the ice gets worn down, and there's a little bit of frost when people leave the ice. However, there are only 16 people on the ice as opposed to 32. So I don't know how much.
That's a good point, though. It can still make a difference.
Yeah.
Even if it's just psychological.
Yeah.
This one didn't curl as much as they.
No, it did not, and so it looks like. Zach is going to try and take out both of these yellows, come close to ending it right here and now. If he gets rid of those 2, it's going to be next to impossible for Massey to get 3.
This looks good.
So he's got 1, he's got 2. And that is handshakes on sheet C. Wow. Team McDonald has punched their ticket into tomorrow's final. That again is going to be at 10:30 a.m. between Team Siggins and Team McDonald. It's going to be another Coyotes centrifuge of chaos. Trademark pending. But a great game all around, and it's been great to have Sean here helping out with the broadcast.
So thank you, Ryan. It's been a lot of fun. Thanks for having me.
Just some well executed games on both sheets, and hopefully if you're not here tomorrow morning, hopefully you'll tune in. Hopefully everyone will tune in tomorrow morning at 10:30 a.m. And just a good game all around. Any last thoughts?
No, I had a lot of fun. Hopefully you had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Join us tomorrow and kind of a pre-game for NFL playoff football in the afternoon.
This is the game you should tune into. And again, the winner for tomorrow's final gets their ticket punched to the Mid Nationals, which are going to be held in just a couple of months back in the Midwest. So for all of us here at Coyotes Curling Club and MoPac, this has been Ryan. I've been joined by Sean, saying so long and good curling.